Hi, welcome to the Fresh Perspective podcast. I'm Nikita.
And I'm Jessie. So something I'd like to ask your opinion on this week is something I was talking to my lash girl about, which makes me sound super like
Bougie.
white privilege. Yeah. It was my second time ever getting them done. But the whole concept of influencers and whether like what do you follow an influencer for? Because she's very like appearance obsessed and she follows all the girls like Lily Brown and like who's some others like Shani Grimman, like the ones that kind of no hate but like, you know, kind of just post selfies and post makeup and post like them getting their lip filler and whatever. And personally, I like people like Sarah's Day who like actually add value to your life and like will give you tips and advice and share their real life struggles and like be just really real. Like I follow people for their content that literally adds value to my life. What about you?
Yes. Okay, so I actually follow both. So I follow people like Shani and Lily because I started following them at the beginning when I got Instagram because I was like obsessed with that group. I was like, oh my God, they're so cool and they're from Brisbane. I love them when I was like 13. And then I like kind of moved on, but I still follow them because I don't know why, but I think that I kind of like I like to know what they're doing, which is what I hate about it. Like I'm like, why do I care what they're doing? And that's the part that gets me, is that annoys me. But lately I've been like, they don't show up on my Instagram anymore because I'm not engaging with them. So they're all the way at the bottom. Like I barely see any of their posts at all anymore because I much prefer focusing on people that add value. Someone that gives me something. Like I love Brittany Lee Saunders.
Yeah, same.
I love her. So she's like always like the first post. If she's posted, she's like always the top one. I like read it. I love it. She posts such good stuff.
Yeah, she's just, again, really real and like actually gives you value. Like I used to really like Shani. I only discovered Shani like a few years ago when she was already big. But she was definitely more real, and I just like, again, I don't want to sound like I'm hating on her. Like, it's fine, you do you. But I feel like I've outgrown her content. Whereas, I don't know if you know Chloe, her like...
Yeah, her friend Chloe Zeps.
Yeah, Zep.
Have you said that? Yep.
Yeah. I just feel like she has grown up so much.
Yeah,
and, she posts more value content rather than just the typical like selfies.
Yeah, and it's my 21st birthday. Like, I'm not drinking on a yacht. Like, okay.
Yeah, like I just find them all so unrealistic, and so many of these like 20-something-year-olds getting Botox and stuff and like lip filler and promoting that as like the norm and like, you know, love yourself for sure and do whatever you need to love yourself. But like, I just feel like it's so unhealthy to promote that kind of thing. Whereas Sarah's Day, like, she'll promote fitness and health and loving yourself in a normal way, not like posting, you know what I mean? Like Instagram is going to be here's my highlight reel and here's me looking good. But I just prefer a little bit of realism from my influencers. Yeah,
I do agree. I think Instagram has itself grown up as a platform. I think it used to be very image based and very like you had to look perfect to be up the top. Like you had to be, your photos had to be amazing. You had to have the filters. Everything had to be so beautiful together. But now I think that it's kind of like transitioned, like it prefers to, I mean, obviously it depends with who you engage with, but it kind of wants to show people that are adding values with long captions and like what they're talking about and stuff like that. And they also like to, like they've got those new stickers where you can like support small businesses and stuff like that. Like I think they want to focus more on realism rather than just girls that post photos in their bikini, which is fine, obviously. But it's not really doing much for anyone.
No.
Like it's fine. I mean, I know you and I have had this discussion and after having the discussion, I do see your point and I do agree with it. But girls that like post photos in their bikini or in their bra and underwear and the post is about body positivity in that, I know you have strong feelings about that.
No, like more so what my issue is like, you know, what if you're a bikini model or say like a brand's paying you to promote their bikini, cool, but like girls don't look like that. Like when you have fake boobs and like it's edited and all that, like I love the photos where they're sharing like, here's my bikini bod pose And here's my bikini bod really like while I'm sitting down and there's my rolls or there's my cellulite. Like just a little bit of realism.
And I also like when they'll post photos of their stretch marks. Just
exactly.
but without having to talk about it, like without having to make the caption, these are my stretch marks, everyone love yourself. Like when they just post it and say like something else that's like related to like completely different because they don't think it's necessary to bring it up. Yeah. That's what I love.
And yeah, like my issue with what you were saying before is more like they'll post a bikini selfie and then just add like hashtag body positivity, not like that they're actually like, I'm a pro body positivity. And it's like, here's an excuse to post a bikini photo.
Especially when they have such like, I don't want to sound like mean,
just say it.
But
just say it.
I just think that girls that have like unrealistic body expectations that are super skinny and super fit and everything, like I'm sure they work for that body, but then they will post something saying like, oh, love yourself for who you are, and then they'll get like thousands of likes and comments for the way that they look, and it's kind of like, well, I don't look like that, so you're telling me to love myself, but don't I have to look like that to love myself?
Yeah, and then they'll go out and get like Botox or like fake boobs, and you're like, oh, what?
But then they continue to tell you to love you for who you are. Yeah. They're like, oh, love your body the way it is, but then they'll go change their body.
Yeah, it's a very fine line, but my main thing is just like when following someone, I don't just want to see your like everyone posts selfies and photos of themselves. It's a very vain platform, but I just want some more value, you know?
Yeah. So that's what I love about your Instagram.
Oh, thanks.
It's always, and like your feed looks, your feed
follow me,
looks
it's just
amazing.
18.
Yeah. It is, honestly, your feed is amazing. It flows. You've always got like the 3 pictures that are like the same but different. I love that.
Thanks.
But then each caption is like so...
Adds that value.
Yeah, like it's amazing.
I do try.
I love it.
Thank
I love
you.
to like comment on every one of them. I like read them and I'm like, ooh, what's my opinion on that?
Oh, I love that. That's what I want. I want people like you to follow me. So amazing. Yeah. We will link our socials below if you want to go and follow us. That would be amazing. But let's get into today's topic so we can try to keep ourselves on track. Today we wanted to do an episode on kind of like a mini uni survival guide. We don't want to ramble too much because we are chatty Cathy's, as we previously mentioned. Yeah. But we wanted to kind of just share some tips because starting uni can be really scary, and especially like if you don't know anyone or if you don't know the uni campus. So we just thought, we would share 5 tips each and kind of have small discussions so it doesn't drag out too much.
Yes.
Yeah, so why don't you give us your first tip?
Okay, so my first tip, which I feel like is extremely important, it's actually probably my favorite tip that I have on here, is that I think you need to find a good place to do your study and do your uni work. So for me, that needs to involve sunlight, a table. I cannot study or do anything on my bed. It doesn't happen. No. So it needs sunlight because that makes me feel happier and like I'm doing something. I need to have my chargers and my cables near me because as soon as something's going flat, whether it be my phone or my laptop, I will get up, leave, and just completely forget what I'm meant to be doing, and I just move on. So I need to make sure that everything's like plugged in so that I can't leave. I like to make sure that I have like a healthy snack with me.
Yeah,
and
same.
Water. Like I just think it's super important to be somewhere where your distractions are limited. You can't like leave or anything. I get very distracted. That might not be everyone. I don't know about you, but
I do.
Easily distracted. As soon as someone walks in the front door, like I have to study when I'm alone because if someone walks in the front door, I'm like, oh, hi, how are you? And I talk to them just so I don't have to do it. Like I'm the biggest procrastinator.
Yeah, I find any possible way to get out of what I'm doing.
So I think that you just need to have a spot and a room that you go to every time, and you know when you're in that spot and that position, that's where you study, and you just need to focus on that.
Yeah, that's so important. And I also think there's been a few studies on the bed thing. Like if you study in bed, you're giving your brain this mixed signal of like, this is where I sleep, but this is also where I study. So when you're trying to study, you're sleepy because your brain thinks you're in bed. Like, so you really do need to separate. And not everyone has the luxury of having a separate room, but even if you just get a desk for your room.
Yeah, like I use it in my bedroom.
Yes. But don't watch TV or like eat at your desk. No. Use the desk purely for study. Like you really need to separate those 2 areas.
Yeah. No, I do like a snack though.
Oh, me
I
too.
do need to eat, like...
Yes.
But if it's lunchtime, I leave then. Like, I leave
Yeah,
for
like,
lunch,
give
but I'll eat little
yourself-
snacks there.
Definitely give yourself little breaks. Like I've read a lot of stuff about 40 minutes study, 20 minutes break, or 10 minutes break, something like that.
Yeah.
It makes your brain work better.
Yes.
But yeah, there's so many tips out there.
Yes. Okay, what's your tip?
My tip is get to know the campus before you go. And honestly, I do this every year because my first year, I was like, it wasn't my first year of uni. I'd done a year of uni in Brisbane, but I was doing my first year of uni at this particular campus that me and Nikita both go to now. And it was scary. Like, I didn't even know where to park. I remember, like, not even knowing how the parking worked. Like, finding, there's no, like, I kind of was like, is there a map or, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much stuff. I honestly recommend, like, go to either orientation week or go to the uni campus before you start, just to even have a walk around, get your bearings, like, find out where everything is. The main important ones are, like, find out about the parking, find out where the best parks are.
I didn't know that parking we had to pay for because it was my first time at uni. Did not know that. I just walked straight past. Lucky I was picking up my ID card, and that's why I went to uni the first time. That's why I did my tour then. It was like before Christmas. Like, I was super eager, so I went really early. And I had no idea I had to pay, and I walked back past, and I parked near like a meter where I had to pay, and I was like, oh, I didn't pay, and I was so scared I was going to get in trouble. I was like, oh my God. But no one was there anyway. But I didn't even know you had to pay.
Yeah, I literally, I remember my first day, I didn't go before uni, I went on the day. And I parked, and then I was walking past and saw people lining up at the pay things, and I texted a friend who used to go there and was like, how does the parking thing work? And she was like, oh, you got to pay at the thing. So I was like, oh my God. And like, where I'm from, there's not really paid parking. Like, it's a real kind of beach town where you just park wherever. Like, you might get a ticket if you're in a 2-hour park for 5 hours, but there's no paid parking. So I really wasn't used to it. Like, it was a bit like, The other thing is definitely, like, if you've got your schedule, go around and find those classrooms and try to remember, because being late for class, like, a lot of my classes were like one after the other. So I'd be like finishing a lecture and have to like look up where the class
I know
was.
exactly what you mean.
Yeah, whereas if I had found them beforehand, I would have just been able to go straight there, like, easy.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
And then also the other two was just the library is a big one. Like, usually that's pretty obvious because it's a massive building. Well, ours is. And that's like a really good place to study. And like, ours is just good for computer use and all that stuff, which I'm sure most libraries are.
Yes.
And then as well, the cafeteria and food spots and coffee spots. Like, you need those things when you're in a rush to your next class and you have 10 minutes and you need a drink, or you need even the toilets as well. Like, just get your bearings.
Yes, it's so true, because then you're just walking around in circles, not knowing where you're going.
Yeah, you waste so much time, whereas if you just went beforehand, got your bearings, you'd be good.
Exactly. Okay. My second tip is, this is one that I truly believe in, and it kills me when I see people that don't do this, but I think that you should buy your textbooks second hand. They are expensive and it's ridiculous. A lot of unis actually have, like, I know ours does, a Facebook group called, like, what's it called? Textbook Buy, Swap and Sell or something. Yeah. So people will post the textbooks on there, and then you can search for the one you want. You search for your course normally, and then you just find it, buy it from there. Secondhand, they're usually at least half price, like all of mine have been. And they're not even that bad. Even if someone's like drawn in it, written in it, or highlighted it, it's not affecting you that much. If anything, it's probably helping you. But usually people haven't even written in them anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But I think it's, honestly, to be honest with you, it's a waste of money to buy a new textbook. You don't use them that often. They're not that necessary. Also, I used to look at my course outline and buy my textbooks straight away before uni started. And I do regret doing that, because you go to uni and in your lecture you find out that you don't actually need your textbook. And it's available online, or it's not that necessary.
Yeah,
It's
a
like,
lot of my
what?
lecturers, had said in the first lecture, like, oh, look, you probably don't, it's probably not essential to have it. And then you're like, oh, cool, I've just spent hundreds of dollars on
Yeah.
a textbook.
Yep.
I definitely think you need to go and just suss out whether, like, how important it is. And always ask, because a lot of them are happy to tell you, like, look, I'm not meant to say, but, like, you'll do okay without it. And you're like, okay, cool.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think they're good to have in a sense, like maybe when you leave uni or something. I don't really know, but I like to keep mine just in case I need to look something up. They're good for exams to look over.
Yeah.
But I don't, like, if you don't have the money, I definitely don't think you should stress over it.
Yeah, and I think, like, be smart about it. Like, for example, I have one that I had from my first year marketing course that I have used for, like, every marketing course since.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to go to, like, an accounting book because I had to do one subject in accounting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
I agree
just
with that.
think smart.
Yeah.
Cool. My next tip is just, like, tips for studying for exams.
Mm-hmm.
So very similar to, like, what you were saying with the first one. Like, definitely find a place to study, and all the tips you kind of said, definitely important. Also, like, I always put my phone on airplane mode and hide it, because if it goes off, I can't, like, ignore it. Like, it'll distract me instantly. I also, as I said, will try to take regular breaks. Like, I will literally put myself on a 50-minute timer and then have a 10-minute break, or I have a longer one for lunch. And I also read that if you're writing, say you're writing a report or an essay or something, the easiest way for you to, sorry, Nikita's trying to have a drink silently and I'm just cracking up at her
silently.
face.
And the lid is so loud, I was trying to make it as quiet as
Oh
possible.
I couldn't not laugh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so what was I even saying? Have a
10-minute break, you set alarms
yes.
and that.
Yeah, set alarms because, I read that if you're writing a report or an essay, it's actually better for the alarm for your break to go off when you're halfway through, like, a paragraph or a sentence, rather than finishing a paragraph or a section and then going for a break, because then when you get back, you read what you were writing and you can get straight back into it. Whereas if you're starting fresh for a new section, you get back from your break and you're just not like in it. Like, it's harder to restart from scratch.
I do get what you mean by that. You're kind of like, I finished that. That's good for the day. Whereas, like, I feel like I can't leave halfway through. Like, I've got to write exactly what I'm thinking. I've got to go with it all. Like, half the time I don't even leave during, like, if I'm writing a report or something, I just write it all. Yes, it's bad, but as long as I get what I want down, and then I go through and fix it all up later.
Yeah, well, another really good thing that I learned, even as a kid, because I used to write stories a lot as a kid, and I would always
publish
try to be... No. Well, one went in a competition and I almost won. But
job.
I've got them all actually handwritten on, like, little notepads that I want to type out, because some of them are actually kind of good. Yeah. Anyway.
You're going to have to read one for a podcast.
Yeah. They're long. They're like novels. It's
God.
insane.
Don't read one.
I know. Yes, but I think what always helped me was someone said to me once, like, as you write, you shouldn't be like, you know, if you're like, you're on a roll and you're trying to write what's in your head, but then you're also trying to think of, like, smart words at the same time. So it stops the flow. So someone said to me once, like, just let your brain go, write out everything you're thinking, and then you can go back in and add the smart words and, like, get rid of stuff. But just brain dump it first and then refine it. Like, that's the best way to write a report or essay.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
And then I also personally, what I do is make sure that I'm organized ahead of time with my notes. So, like, every lecture, I make sure that I've taken, you know, when they say in a lecture, like, this is really important for your exam, I make a separate document for exam notes.
Oh, do you? That's smart.
I know. So I kind of, you can, most lecturers in our kind of industry will give you, like, an indication as to what you're going to study. So it's pretty easy as you go through, if you're organized, to make a study, like a cheat sheet, let's say, as you go.
Yeah.
And then what I do is refine it at the end, and I will, like, print it out, and then I'll write out, like, definitions by hand, because it stays in your brain when you write it.
I do agree with that.
Yeah, and then I do that a few times. I'll like fully fill like notebooks of like notes sometimes, and then I'll go through and rewrite it for like the final time, and then I'll highlight. And then if I still don't get it, I write flashcards, and they really help if you're like studying with someone.
I do agree with flashcards. I like to just quickly on that. I like to at school, you know, when you used to get a revision sheet.
Yes.
You don't get those in uni.
Those were the days.
Dumb. Yeah. So I used to, and they'd give you the answers in that. I would write down every question and every answer over and over and over again until it was in my head. And then when you go to the exam, they would have pretty much the same question but with different numbers. So I would remember exactly how it was done because I would write it over and over and over again until it was in my head. And then I would be like, okay, I'm good. And then it made it so much easier. But you don't have that at uni.
No, and also a lot of people, like I have a few friends in the health, like my friend's studying OT, and her exams are like, it could be on 100 different topics. They don't give you much indications, so they can't really write it out. But
and the words themselves are hard.
Yes.
Like it's too much to remember.
Definitely.
Could never. Okay. Now, my third point actually goes partly off what Jessie was just saying. So I think that you should download the lecture slides and write them all down. So I like to write them in a Word document, and I copy and paste every part of the PowerPoint slide, or I'll write it, depends how long it is. Sometimes I write it so it's in my head, like you said. Otherwise, I'll copy and paste it, and I put it all, each subject has its own Word document for the whole semester. I put that all in there, and that's before the lecture. And then when I go to the lecture, I'm not sitting there trying to keep up with what he's saying because I already have that all. And then I just add in the parts where they're adding examples or something that's not in there that I find important. So I add that stuff in there, and that is extremely helpful with assignments because it's all exactly where you need it. I list them as what week they are so I can find them easier, and it was so helpful with online exams.
Yeah,
like so helpful because I would just
Control F.
Yeah, and just type in the word that was the question, and I was like, oh, there we go, and it's super helpful. And then you kind of, when you're finished that semester, you've got everything there, so you can kind of look back. Like I look back at my intro to marketing little semester booklet because it helps with other marketing courses. So it's actually super helpful, and I'm glad I did it. I started doing it in my first semester, and I kind of gave up halfway through. I was like, oh, this is dumb, like pointless. And then it got to those exams and those assignments, and I was like, oh, like I have to go through the PowerPoints now to find what I want. Like this is a waste of my time. So then I picked it back up, and now I carried it, and it's so helpful. Yeah,
see, I did do that for a time, but honestly, like some of my subjects, the slides every week would be like 150 slides.
Oh no,
of just info.
Yeah. See,
so I think pick and choose. Like our social media ones especially, they're really not like, no offense,
Karen.
If Karen ever listens. But I just feel like you don't need all of those notes every week, every PowerPoint slide
and a lot of them are the same too.
Exam.
And some aren't helpful. But I think if you have the mindset and like the capability to be able to be like, that's not important, I don't need to copy everything that's in here.
Yeah.
You need to be able to go through it yourself and be like, okay, think for yourself and choose what's important.
Yeah. Also, OneNote is a really good program that you should use.
I've heard that, but I haven't used it. But everyone I know uses it.
I tried it, but I didn't like them being in one document. I prefer to do a Word document per week, and then it just cuts it down a little bit. Yeah. But so if you're putting them all in one document, you might as well use OneNote. It's so much easier.
I did think about that. I've seen people using it at uni, and I look over and I'm like, hey, that looks kind of fun. I'm like, that looks like a little notebook.
It is. No, I think it would suit you. I just didn't like it because I wanted I wanted separate document per week. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think that helps more?
Having
like each course on one document per week?
Yeah, because then what I do at like exam time is they give you a list of like what's going to be on the exam, or they give you what weeks are going to be on the exam. So you can just print out those weeks, or I go through those weeks and just pull out the relevant information onto a separate exam cheat sheet document.
Smart.
Yeah. But everyone has their different ways. It's just about finding it.
Exactly.
Okay, my turn?
Mm-hmm.
My next point is about internships, and I basically just want to like touch on like how to get one and why you should get one. And essentially like we're going to do a whole podcast on this, I reckon.
Yeah.
More so just like why you should try at uni.
Yes, for sure.
But essentially, like, if you're studying
why you should
business,
put effort in.
yeah, if you're
Yeah.
studying business or you're studying communications, like, you're studying in a field where you kind of need experience to get a
Yeah.
job, not just good grades, which, to be honest, is most things.
It is.
Then doing an internship is so important. Because you get experience for free, but also like you don't get paid. So most of the time. Also, like, it's good to do an internship because if you have no idea, like, obviously, if it's your second year, say, you've obviously never worked in the industry you want to get into, then doing an internship is, like, a way you can go in, and even if you make mistakes, it's expected because you're an intern. Rather than if you got a job.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
That's
It's so
exactly why
scary.
I am an advocate for it. I'm like, you don't want to graduate, go in there, and then be like, oh, you don't know that? Whereas if you're an intern, you can be like, oh, no, I'm still learning.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so good. And I think it makes you just feel better. For me personally, like, doing my internship, I really got to know the kind of like the different ways. I got to see different, what's the word, like, ways that people do the job, I guess, like different platforms they use, different ideas they have, different ways they approach things. And I learned a lot. And then I also got to know the people. And usually with internships, like, they look to hire quite a lot of them. So, because they've trained you, so they've taught you their ways.
Especially if you're near the end as well. Like, if you're near the end of your degree, then they definitely are.
Yeah. And also just how to get one. Like, I don't know what it's like for every uni, but honestly, like, two different things. The first being, if your uni offers one as a subject and you have good grades, definitely do that, because you're literally, like, you get to do an internship and get a credit towards your degree at the same time. But also, like, people think that just because they don't have enough credits to do one means that they can't. You can offer your time for free in your own time. Like, you do that, don't you?
Yes, I do.
And a lot of people I know have done it, and it's like people with the attitude of like, oh, well, I don't have enough credits to do an internship. It's like, no, you can find one.
You just don't want to put the effort in.
Yeah, exactly. It is a lot of effort, but it's so worth it because you get the experience, you get a reference, you learn things.
You learn so much more than you do at uni, honestly.
Yeah.
The experience that you get from an internship is so much better than what you'll get at uni. I feel like at uni you're taught one particular way. And like you just said, when you go into like an agency or into a like business in general, like when you go in there, you're like, oh, like you do it different, like I can do it the way that like I think works best for me. Like everyone does everything different and it still works perfectly fine. Like everyone has their own way, but at uni you're kind of segregated into one way. I feel like that kind of limits you,
and you're limited to theory rather than practicality kind of thing. So it is good. And I just think you need to give your own time to be able to get that experience, because otherwise you're not going to get hired. And
especially in anything communication-based, business-based too, it's all about having connections and networking and knowing people. And if you're not willing to put yourself out there to want an internship, like people love when you've got passion. If you're willing to work for free because you want experience, they're going to love that. They're going to help you in any, like if you need help, like I've messaged people that I've done internships with and they're super helpful with anything I have because they value and they see how passionate you are and how much drive you have for what you do. And it makes it so much easier.
Yeah, and you honestly need to just find places that you kind of would want to work out, or someone that's doing something that you want to do eventually. Exactly. And approach them, and even just sending them a message like, hey, look, I was just wondering if you'd be like, even if it's just a little bit of work experience for free, like it doesn't have to be a full 3-month internship.
No, exactly. And even if it's daunting to you, just go for a smaller company. Go for someone that's like got 2 employees, like a small boutique agency, because they do want that help and they will help you. They'll be able to talk to you more and help you more rather than a big agency where you might be like scared to be pushed off to the side and you're expected to know stuff and you don't.
Yes.
So like a smaller agency is able to help you a bit more. They talk to you, they teach you stuff. That's like what your internship did with you.
Yeah, and if you're not being paid, they shouldn't expect you to be this like knowledge-able expert. You're an intern, so
That's why it's its own episode, because we just get excited about it.
We try to get to We'll do a whole episode.
Yes. Okay, my turn. So my 4th tip is to show up to class. Now that may sound like show up every single day, which I don't agree with. I think it kind of depends, A, on what the class is, and B, like, this might sound completely different, but this is how I feel. I think it depends on the mindset you have as well. Like, I can't go to class one day if I'm just not in the mood, and I think it's really important to think about that. If I go to class and I'm not in a
Ready
good
to
mood
learn.
and I don't want to learn, then it's going to be a waste of my time.
Yeah, definitely.
And a lot of unis allow you to catch up anyway. Like, lectures you can watch online all the time, and tutes you just ask, and usually they run you through. Our social media tutes are online anyway, so you can look at those. But
Yeah.
I think that by showing up to class, I just mean making sure you're putting the effort in to want to be there. So
Yeah, okay.
you need to think, like, I like to say to myself, okay, like, I have to show up. And I know that I don't have to if I don't feel like, if it's not going to work for me that day, or if I've got something on, I don't want to stress myself out to show up.
No.
But it's just the fact of knowing that you chose this degree, this is what you want to do, you want to be at uni, so you should show up to it. You should want to be there.
Also, you're paying thousands of dollars eventually for it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main point.
Yes. No, I don't understand people that, like, choose to like, do this whole degree and then they never show up to class.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's another
That's
point
all?
as well. Yeah.
That's a whole nother story.
Yes. That's all.
Okay. My number 4 is how to make friends / the right friends.
Mm-hmm.
So making friends, like, can be difficult for people that are introverted. Can't relate, but
This is a good point for you, isn't it?
no, honestly, like, as extroverted as I am, I still get anxious and nervous. Like, if I'm in a lecture theatre of, like, 100 people or 200 people that I don't know, and they're all sitting in groups, like, it is still daunting on people that are extroverted. I think everybody struggles to make friends at first in, like, large groups of people or in new places. Like, starting uni can be just scary in general, let alone like trying to make friends. And a lot of people just keep their head down and don't. But honestly, like, it's important to try to make friends, even if it's just like for the sake of having somebody in that class that you can rely on.
Yeah.
And I think making the right friends, like, don't be afraid to talk to people. If you see someone who is listening and taking notes and seems eager to be there, if you see the same people showing up every week, contributing to the class discussion, and you want to be that person or you are that person, try to make friends with them. Go sit with them. Introduce yourself. Like, you really just need to put yourself out there. And again, with these kind of degrees that we do with business and communication, you need to be networking, and not even for the sake of like, oh, this person might get me a job, but for the sake of, oh, if I'm really struggling to understand a concept next week, this person might help me.
Yeah, like there's another person to rely on. There's someone else to help you.
Yes.
And
Sorry, I was going to say, I feel like you should say your next point just because these two kind of link. So we could, if you say your next point, then we can kind of talk about both in one. Because I don't want to say things you're going to say.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was just going to really quickly add just to your point that people get often more scared to go up to a group of friends. And I think, like, my sister, when she went to uni, the first people she spoke to was a group of 5 friends, and she just walked up, and now they're all still friends. She's left uni for 5 years now, and they're all still friends. So you just got to find the people. Like, she knew that she was going to fit in with them. Yes, they were a group, which is daunting to some people, but people are nice. Like, if I'm sitting with a friend, that doesn't mean no one else can join. Like, I feel like people only go to another single person. Like, they'll choose someone that's on their own again. They'll be like, oh, that one looks like a good friend.
I've actually met a lot of weirdos like that as well.
Yeah. Me.
Oh, I wasn't going to say.
Okay, so my point that relates to that is to do specifically with finding a group of friends for presentations and studying and stuff like that. So a lot of courses, I know pretty much all of mine every semester, I've had a group presentation. It's usually task 2, which means it's in like week 8. So you've got quite a bit of time. But I think within those first, like, 3 weeks, because usually you have to decide by week 4 anyway. But I think in those first 2 to 3 weeks, you need to kind of suss out the right person. Like, you need to be like, okay, who do I want to work with? And then you kind of, It's because I love networking. That's exactly what it is. You need to network with each individual peer and be like, okay, who do I want to work with?
Interview them.
Yeah. And be like, are you right for me? No. But it's like a lot of people will, on the first day, they'll sit down next to someone and they'll say, oh, that's my friend. And then when it comes to presentation, they'll just choose that one. And then they're like, oh, actually, I probably would have worked better with someone else.
Yeah, and it's hard because I think at uni you're just grateful to have a friend sometimes because so many people just aren't very friendly.
Yeah.
But you've got to make sure you're not make friends, but sometimes you have to be ballsy enough to say, oh, I really get on with you and like you as a person, but I don't really want to work with you in this group.
Yeah, and you need to be prepared to have that conversation. A few of my tutors have sparked the conversation, but some don't, and you need to be prepared to say, what grade are you aiming for? Because if you're aiming, a lot of people just aim for a pass or a credit,
and
they're happy with that. And if you want something higher, you're going to end up doing all the work if you get with someone else. And it's not saying that we can't be friends because you don't want to put effort in. You can still be friends, but it's just
be smart about and again, it's similar with if you make friends with someone you really get along with, but they're really chatty, you don't really want to sit next to them in a lecture because it's nice to have a friend, but you won't be able to pay attention because they just will keep talking.
That's why Jessie and I don't do uni work together.
We've never tried.
No, we haven't. We've never had the opportunity, but I can imagine if we did.
Yeah, I know.
We'd be like,
one of my really good friends. Yeah, literally. I've met a few really good friends at uni, but one of them, it would be really hard to sit in a lecture together because we'd also wouldn't have seen each other in a few weeks, so we'd be trying to catch up, but the lecture's on, so it's let's just get coffee after. Maybe just say that, let's get coffee after and have a catch up, but I just really need to listen. And if they don't respect that, then maybe try not to sit with them next time.
It's you kind of need to. I'm a person that needs to find someone that wants, I usually aim for a distinction, but if I become friends with someone who wants a high distinction, that's good for me because then they're gonna make me, because they're gonna put so much effort in and want to pay attention, that then I'm kind of oh, I better do, I gotta pay attention, I want to put that effort in. Whereas if I'm with someone that also wants a distinction or a high credit, or they don't mind, then I'm kind of oh, I can talk for a bit, we'll just chat. But if you're with someone who really puts that effort in, then you're oh, you got to kind of keep that standard up and you can't slack off. Yeah, because you're not letting yourself down, you're letting them down as well. Yeah. And for me, that just makes me more motivated.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's important to separate social from uni. I've had some really social friends that it's let's put our heads down for an hour, smash out this group assignment, and then we can go for a coffee or a drink or dinner and just have social time where we can chat. And it's it works out really well that way.
I do. I've had a few like that, but I've also had a few where, and it's kind of in first year, I feel you get over it, second year. Yeah. But it's still, if you're fresh from high school and you're in first year, then a lot of people still kind of act like they're in high school and they chat and it's high school drama and that. And you're kind of no, I've paid the money. I'm here for a reason. I'm not going to just chat to you about what that person's wearing out there. That's not what we're here for. We need to focus. And I learned that in semester 1 because I just wanted to work with this friend. And I was oh, yay, we're so cool. And then it was a bad grade. And I was oh, that's, I knew it was going to be bad. And I knew I didn't like what I did. But I was oh, I may as well just, you want to talk about that date you had on Friday night? Okay.
Yeah.
You got to kind of...
Because I came to uni later... later in life. I'm a mature age student. I mean, technically I am, but I think I was 22 when I came back, I think. Yeah. So I kind of was past that stage and I had these girls that I knew who were a lot younger than me. One was 18, one was 21 or 20. Yeah. And they would always be let's ditch for the beach, and we'd be in the lecture and they'd be on their phones, or they'd be trying to convince me to ditch with them, and I'd be look, I really need to be here. If you don't, that's fine, but just go. I don't need you to be peer pressuring me, you know what I mean?
No, that's
so you really need to stick up for yourself. And I think trying to being a high achiever is hard because if you get stuck with a shit group, you carry the group, and that's been me so many times. I've had to do everybody's work because I need that high distinction.
Yeah, you don't want that to happen. No. But yeah, I think I just personally work better when I am motivated to not let someone else down. If someone doesn't have like if they don't care, then I'm kind of like, oh, you know, I'm just letting myself down. To me, that's not as bad. Like it should be.
Yeah.
And like I am sad when I'm like, oh, I just like really let myself down. But if I let someone else down, I'm like, shit, like they hate me. Like
Yeah.
I'm a horrible
See, we would
person.
work good together because I would cry if I got a distinction.
Yeah, see, good. Good. That will work well. We should look into it.
Yes. Okay, my last one. Is it my turn? Yeah.
Yeah, that was my 5th one.
Oh, okay, great. My last one is to use the library resources. And I say this because everyone in my 3rd year classes like would get pulled up for their referencing being wrong or whatever. And so many people have said to me, oh my God, I wish they taught us how to reference. Oh my God, I wish they taught us like how to search things on the uni scholar website or whatever, like the academic, how do you find journal articles, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I'm like, they do teach that. You just chose not to go. Like they literally put it on Blackboard, which is, I don't know if it's the same for every uni, but it's like the uni student hub thing. They put on there all these free courses that they offer, library walkarounds, how to find your library book, how to check it out, how to pay. Like, I think they even do a how to pay for parking, you know.
Do they?
I think
should
so.
taken that.
I could be wrong. But they do these little classes, even like, like how to do searches, how to reference, like you name it, they do it. So just look for it and go to them.
Yeah, and I've had 3 compulsory courses now where I've taken the exact same class. It's like one class out of the semester, and you go to the library and they tell you how to do everything. And to me, now that I've done it 3 times, I'm like, I know what I'm doing. Like, this is so annoying. But then I hear people saying, they're like, I've got no idea. Like, one of my lecturers took us through, like, referencing and that. And I was like, oh, like, it's fine. Like, I'm listening. But I'm like, oh, I know what I'm doing. But then, like, my friend texted me and she was like, I can't believe that. Like, I had no idea you could look at journal articles on the website. And I was like, what? Yeah. I was like, what do you mean?
How have you got to this, this far?
Like, what do you do then?
But I think it should be, honestly, like at the start of your uni year, like say you're just starting semester 1, year 1, to be able to go, you need to complete certain amount of library courses. So everyone's on the same page.
Agree.
Because it's unfair that you're in 3rd year and they're like, oh, let's just do a quick hour on referencing. Like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, and
I'm good.
And it also sucks for the people that don't know. Like, if you don't know that the uni offers that, which, you know, it's on Blackboard and the access links, like, it's definitely right there. But, you know, if you don't know, it's not fair to them either. Like, they haven't
I feel like
taken
it's not that they don't know, it's, that they haven't taken the time to care and to look for it. Like, if you, it's just, it's like they obviously just don't care about doing well.
Which then affects us.
Yeah, but I just every class I go to, there is let's just quickly touch on referencing. Or, do you guys know how to look for journal articles? Like, yes, I'm in my 3rd and final year, I know.
Yeah, and then there's people like, oh my God, really?
Oh,
yeah, it's crazy.
damn.
But I actually did year 1, semester 1 before I went. There was like these free uni courses you could actually do at uni the week before orientation week, and you go into uni and they do all these courses, and one of them was on the library, like physically in there, and which is fun. And then I did another one on like how to write an essay or something. I don't know why, but I did it. And I was like, I'm going to do a bunch of them. I did them for a week long. I did like so many. I actually made a friend that went to all of them, and I was like, oh, fun. But she's left uni now, so it didn't really work out. Didn't really work out for her. But yeah, it was actually fun, and I feel like I learned a lot. And like the thing I liked about it was going there, I was kind of like the youngest one. Like, it was nice to see that there were so many mature age students putting the effort in. Like, they were at the how to write an essay ones that they knew, so that they were ready. And then it kind of like was eye-opening to see that no one young there really like cared to learn about how the resources worked and how everything worked. I was like, I'm the only one here. Like, there was like 60-year-old man sitting behind me, and he was putting so much effort in. He was trying so hard, and I was like, why is no one else here?
I think it's because when you're 18, like not all 18, you're the exception, but most 18-year-olds are at uni because they feel like they have to be, not because they want to be.
Yeah.
And so then they don't care as much.
And
but
some
when
people
you're 60,
also think it's fun.
Yeah.
It's like a fun break.
Yes, exactly.
It's like
yeah. And and they think that they're there because they they're doing it for the right reasons. But
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, you need to be ready and you need to be like committed to it.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just weird for me to see people that aren't, like, passionate about it. I'm like, why are you here? Why are you spending so much money? Like, can you leave? Like,
literally.
But, like, at school, I was not that passionate. Like, I didn't care that much at school because I didn't like what I was doing. Like, I hated maths. I hated all of it. I was like, nah, don't want to be here. But then as soon as you find that thing you want to do and there's people sitting in there that don't care and talk like they're in high school, like just talk in the middle of class and don't pay attention, I'm like, why are you here?
Literally.
Like, you kind of just don't. That's why I'm liking uni online, because I don't have to listen to the other people. I'm like, it's just me doing it on my own. Which is great.
I love it. Okay, well, let's wrap up this episode because we are pretty much at our time.
Ooh, should we decide our favourite tip from the entire thing? Okay.
Or maybe like a bonus one if you have a bonus one.
Oh, wow, that's on the spot.
Oh, I've got a good bonus one.
Okay, good.
My good bonus tip is for girls, so sorry if you're a guy listening, but I mean, it could work too. Find your perfect uni bag. And this is not like an easy task. I went through so many different bags trying to find the perfect one. And the best one I found was a Kmart bag.
Yeah, I love your bag. I'm so jealous of your bag.
If you're not Australian, I'm sorry. It fits my lunch.
It's so good.
Which is the most important thing. Like in a cooler bag lunchbox.
That's actually important. Make sure you take lunch.
Right. That was my other. I was going with that and then I was like, no, the bag has to fit.
Bag.
Right? Snacks, lunch, drink bottle, your like books if you need it, laptop, umbrella because you never know if it's going to rain.
You always need an umbrella. I forgot one day and that's when it rained.
Same. It's awful. And just the little stuff that you like, you know, again, sorry guys if you're listening, but backup tampons. You never know.
It's true. I see people that just like walk into uni with just like their purse and their laptop and I'm like, where's the rest of your stuff?
Phone?
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing?
I guess
I've
it
got
depends
like
how long you're
everything in there.
Yeah, like if you're only there for an hour, it's like
but to me, I feel
all
like
day,
for both of us, because we still live so far away from uni, even being there for an hour, which takes longer to drive than to be there, which is annoying. But even being there for an hour, I'm kind of like, I need this, because I'm gone for so long.
I know. My car is like full of backup stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'll have so much of it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And do you have any bonus tips that you want to add?
I mean, going off that, I do actually believe that you need a good quality water bottle. Like that might sound dumb, but I used to, like in my first year, I was like, oh my God, like I'm not taking a water bottle because I thought I was weird. And then I found out our uni didn't sell water. That was
my God.
That was not good for me. They they have like the, what's that called? That little machine? The one that gives you like the machine that gives you like cold water.
Yeah, that's a rip
whatever that cool thing is. Yeah,
I tried to fill my water bottle up one day. It cost $3 for like a quarter of a litre.
Did it actually? I went to the one for free. That must not be the cold one. Yeah, but there's one there that's near the library that's free. And I was like, what am I meant to do? Yeah, I was like, what am I meant to do if I don't have a bottle? But I think I used to go stainless steel bottle. Yeah. But I think, yes, it keeps it cold and that's great, but it's heavy. And
it is heavy.
My bag is already heavy enough and I've got my laptop in it. So I just like to stick to like a classic plastic one. I also like plastic. This is just me. I don't like stainless steel because I can't see in it. And it scares me not knowing what's in there. Yeah, no, seriously, sometimes I get so stressed because one time I lent my sister my water bottle and she put coffee in it and gave it back to me. And then it smelt disgusting. And I was like, what's in it? And I had no idea. So now I'm like, clear water bottle all the way. Yeah, and plus, don't get one that's too heavy. Just fill it up. Don't get like a massive litre one. It's too much.
I get stainless steel and mine's 1.5. Oh,
1.5?
Yeah, look, it's like bigger than my head.
Oh, yeah, it is.
But it lasts all day. It's cold. Like, I left it in the car
if you don't have water, get a big one. Yeah, for sure.
I left it in the car once during summer and it literally came out after a whole day of uni and it was still cold in there.
Yeah.
So it's insane.
I do love
But
stainless steel bottles. They're just heavy, but I do love them. For anything else,
it's hard to find a good middle ground. It's hard to find a good bag. It's hard to
I thought
find
we're talking
a good
about water bottles.
literally a good water bottle. It's hard to find a good lunchbox. It's hard to find a good laptop. It's a long journey.
Before
but
we're
you
talking
find your
about
stuff.
Yeah, we're talking about exam tips and how to do the best at uni. Now we're like bags, water bottle.
Yeah, well, it's the little
important,
things. Also,
yeah.
always bring a jumper because the lecture theatres get so cold.
I don't know why, but I never do. And every time I sit in the lecture, I'm like, I'm freezing. Why do I not bring one? But then when I leave, because I live in Brisbane, when I leave to go up the coast, I'm like, it's hot. Like, I don't need one.
Yeah.
And then I get up there and I'm like, oh, it's actually cold up here.
Yeah, it's freezing.
Or
in
it's the other way.
theatres.
Like, it's cold at home in the morning when I leave at like 6. I'm like, oh, it's freezing. And then I get up there and I'm like, I'm sweating. Why am I near the beach?
Always wear layers like an onion.
Yeah. Just
All
take
right.
them off.
Well, they have been our top tips for a uni survival guide. I hope that they helped anyone that's starting or that's in it and just needs some tips because it's never too late.
Always
right?
a good refresher for each semester too.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like this is helping me right now getting into next
Yes.
semester.
I know. I honestly didn't even realize it was like next week. So I'm like,
It's a bit stressful. Lucky it's online, so I don't have to like prepare myself to go anywhere. I can still wear
Probably
pajamas.
still going to buy stationery though, not going to lie.
Oh,
Buying
yeah.
new stationery every semester is amazing.
And it like motivates you, I feel.
Yes.
I also get motivated, which is not good, but buying new uni outfits.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm motivated to wear that out. And then it's just a
Right?
waste of money.
It is, but
It's
it
not
makes
necessary.
you go to uni.
It does.
Because if
Show
not
up.
enough people see the uni outfit.
And then you feel like you're just repeating it. People are like, didn't you wear that? Like,
yeah,
last
you're like,
week?
shut up.
No.
Shut up, Barbara.
I spent so much money on this. This is my one uni outfit.
Literally.
Yeah, I feel you.
Okay, well, leave us a comment if you want to add any uni tips that you think we missed.
I'd be interested in what else there is. I'd
Yeah,
like to know.
definitely.
I feel like there's plenty that we missed.
Yeah, but also plenty that we covered. So definitely leave us some feedback of any that you can relate to as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, just subscribe to our podcast, follow us, whatever is involved.
Yeah,
if you like
whatever
it.
happens. Let us
Like
know,
us
follow
on
our
Instagram.
socials. Yeah.
Yes.
Our personal and our podcast one.
Yeah,
Both are
obviously.
important. Yeah. All three. You must follow all three.
Please. We're
Please do
begging you.
Yeah.
And thanks so much for listening.
Yeah, that's literally what I was just going to say.
Twins.
We are the same. Yes. Thank you. And we will speak to you all in our next episode.